Good morning, monkeys. Welcome to another episode of RCT Classic for iPad here on Coaster Monkey Studios. Got a really exciting one for you today. We're going to finish up our Jurassica area. Yes, we're calling it Jurassica. We're going to finish up our Jurassica area with a really nice Schwarzkopf looper that I built out here. Again, pretty decent excitement rating to start. Throw in our theming and it jumps it up pretty nicely. Definitely think I need to go back to it as I look at it after filming this last episode. I need to throw in some dinosaurs in here, definitely, I think. We're going to call this one Pterodon Flyer, right? That's a pretty good name. Universal. So as I'm building this out, one thing I'm keeping mindful of as I'm making these corners, I'm making my transitions as smooth as possible. I'm looking into being as erratic as possible, going back and forth and in and out of itself as far as the coaster is concerned. And what this does is creates really great head chopper moments. I don't care what anyone says, no matter what type of coaster you're on, you love airtime and you love head choppers. And if you don't, you shouldn't be riding coasters. But yeah, so we're building this one out here, just about finishing here. And I think I make one adjustment at the end. Yeah, I definitely do. Just so I can get a really cool idea of how I'm going to theme it out. Oh, I just realized I didn't do something either. I've got to go back and do some stuff off camera, obvi. But yeah, so this is our Schwarzkopf looper. Super simple, only 80, I think it's 75 feet off the ground. So not that huge. Schwarzkopfs weren't that big height-wise in coasters. They were more about the loops. And those couple of airtime moments and the helixes. Helixes were huge on Schwarzkopf. You know, I can think of a couple like Shockwave at Six Flags Over Texas and Mindbender at Six Flags, where was that? Six Flags Over Georgia, which was another great one. But yeah, so there goes our looper. Pretty cool, I think. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do some terraforming around it. And my big thing for this one, as I build out the terraforming, is I kind of cut it out in the ground so it has its own paddock, if you will. And that makes me think maybe I should definitely put in, I'm definitely going to have to put in dinosaurs here. But yeah, so our queue goes in and out of itself underneath the coaster, again, increasing that excitement rating. We don't have any pathways going underneath this coaster, which is fine. Schwarzkopf's typically kind of have their own pad, if you will, for guests to walk around, never really through or underneath. That's where that queue is for. And I was going to do one single entryway, but I decided I wanted moving the queue over, I believe, or the exit over and extend the queue. But yeah, so we've got a pretty good center terraform done as well here. It's going to be, again, similar to the mountain that we have just before the drop on the water ride. And as you see here, I'm throwing in my peoples to clean and to maintain and to fix my ride. But then I noticed that there was a bit of an issue with lagging with our guests. So I moved the exit to a more central area there towards the corner. You'll see I do that here because I noticed all the lagging. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? All right, so I take this path over, bring it over to the end, and then move our entryway over more towards the corner so it's easier to get to. Now, with this one here, this is our Dinosaur Egg Ride. We call it Dizzy Dinos. A nice little gentle ride for the kids. And what I decided was to get some brown earth and create a dinosaur nest. Ooh, how cool is that, right? So if you're going to be something different than we've done in the past, dinosaur nests. I don't know what they look like, and I don't know many people who do know what they look like, but I took the picture of this, and my mind was from one of the Jurassic Parks. I think it was the first one where they walk into that dinosaur nest. And yeah, so I figured I would do that, and then get a whole bunch of foliage around it in a little bit. But yeah, so now as I go around, I'm looking and I'm noticing, I put in all of this food area because I said I was going to make a major food outlet for this particular section of the park. And my idea was to create a little tunnel for our monorail to go through. And it'd be really, again, a cool idea for have that drive right through and then build out our building around it. Again, similar construction to the other buildings. And when you're doing this type of passing here, one thing you're gonna have to be mindful of is that you're most likely, if you do anything, like as we're looking at the screen now, on the top right-hand corner of the screen, anything past that top right-hand corner, you're gonna have to build an underground walkway because your guests are gonna lag here. So this is something to be mindful of as you're building this out. That's why we've got that central open area that I've created. It gives a lot of opportunity for us to put in a ton of benches, a few garbage cans, and it creates a really solid foundation for a nice eating area or quote unquote restaurant, right? So as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh, what would this restaurant be? I'm gonna make a second floor. Well, there's gonna be balconies on the second floor, and you get to sit up there as where these windows are in the center. As the tram goes past and you're sitting there eating and the tram rides by. It's a really cool idea, I thought. And I'm wondering, how can I incorporate this into future projects I do in this game? All right, so as I throw in this roof, I noticed that there's a bit of a missing area here, if you notice, but I then realized, no one's gonna see it, it's gonna get covered up. So I left that open and built this around, and then boop, putting in that ceiling, created a cover. Didn't even realize it until it happened. See, so there are these little fixes. You don't have to do every little detail because you've got other details that'll cover it over. And that's something, half of the interior I didn't even have to make. Because no one's going to see it. But for me, it's fun to do. Because, quarantine, boredom. All right, so as we progress here into the central area at the top, my thought process was I'm going to put in windows all the way around. Again, these can be like entryways or exitways or just windows in general. And then our balcony that comes all the way around on the outside, with the rounded roof to be consistent in our theming that we have going on. And this is a great partition building as well, because now outside of this area, I'm not going to be creating anything else, right? I'm going to leave this area open for you guys when I upload this onto Discord, you guys to download this onto Discord. Upload it so you can download it. You know what I mean? Onto Discord or onto RCT Go. It's free reign for you guys. Enjoy it. Have fun with it. And we're gonna have that up there hopefully within the next week. I'm progressing fairly well. After this here, the next episode's gonna be our hotel area that we're gonna create with a parking lot and a pool, which will be really cool. Oh, all right, so here we are. Like I was saying before, I cut out the paddock for this area. Definitely gonna have to throw some dinosaurs in here, just for, fun. And it'll help increase that, right? So I do a little bit of a water feature here. Again, it's always good to have a water feature under your coasters. Helps increase that roller coaster's excitement rating. So that's what we're doing in this moment. And I really love the adjustments I make to this coaster or to the terrain around this coaster, because it's such a small footprint. And that's what's great about these Schwarzkopf loopers. They were known for being small footprint coasters. And here I threw in, I was having some going back and forths here with how I wanted to decorate this area out. And I started putting in some of the same theming around. I was like, you know what? I don't know if I like that. So I played around with this wooden fence as being a wall. And I was like, you know what? This could actually be a pretty cool idea. You know, taking this so it has a more of a rustic feel. You know, maybe this was a building that was one of the first buildings that they created in this theme park, right? For this area. And it's a little bit more rundown and or more rustic and not as futuristic looking as the rest of the buildings in this area. But I wanted to create multi levels here, so it had some dimension to it. Threw in the brown. I feel like it meshed better. And then I come back and I delete that because I was like, you know what? I like these walls better. They look much better personally. And as I'm looking, I'm going, okay, how can I create more depth to this coaster? Give it a little bit more pizzazz and wow, right? So I come back and I built another tower up here. And then this creates a nice little tunnel for it to go up as it's going up there. So just something a little different. Maybe I'll throw some dinosaurs there in that turnaround, which would be pretty cool. Definitely need some down at that drop. Both the drop off the main lift and the drop going into the loop. And I can throw it right on the right hand side there. I believe it should fit. Now this is a good technique in doing coasters. When you have a drop like that, you can make them shorter or longer and then have it go into a turn at the bottom. This is a very traditional roller coaster drop. This is something you'll see on many coasters, whether they be giant or they be, you know, smaller like this one under 100 feet. But it gives a little bit of variation to the ride. Oh, here we are. So now we're finally building the entrance building that you're going to see when you walk into these splash boats, which we haven't named yet, but we have a name, so you guys will get that at the very end. We're going to do a bunch of POVs at the end. It'll be cool. Well, you know, the closest thing to a POV you can get in this game. Which is following the train. But yeah, so we built this out. I wanted it to be, you know, very grand and massive, just like the actual building itself. So I create, again, from the same aesthetic, the big wooden pillars going up. So this way you know that they're connected. You know that this ride and that ride are the same ride. Oh, excuse me. And I wanted a lot of, you know, windows in this one as well, giving it that light feel. Those big chunky blocks of wood, like, ugh, ugh. Don't ask why I did that. And again, we're gonna do it all at the same height. I wanted it to feel very grand and massive, you know, because it is a very grand and massive ride, I feel. And there we had a little bit of an error with, because, you know, when you're building and you know, forget to plug in your electronics, that happens. As we continue along. All right, and then we threw in the red roof tiles here, the rounded roofs in the center, and just capped off with some square blocks on the big wood pillars there. All right, I love the way that looks. It looks so grand and scary. Big, scary ride. Woo. I got this grunting thing. I'm going to have to stop the grunting. But you get my point. So yeah, so I build out now. I'm just doing a bunch of these tall pine trees. Not pine trees. Palm trees. Very Florida-esque. California. And this builds out just this very foresty feel around it. And again, that's the whole idea, right? So now for our Dino, or what did I call these? I call these the trike bumpers. So trike bumpers. So build out a very simple building. Again, you know, with the whole idea of it being bunch of working facilities for this park. This could be one of those buildings that's a working facility, or looks like a working facility, I should say. And then again, super simple cap off, and then we wind up doing the roof with both the flat and then the open window at the top. So this is a cool idea. And I was like, how can I cross? No, crosses are too weird. So we make an X. That's, again, just give us some variation because, you know, it gets so tedious. All right, so now we're, you know, I saved you guys and all of the extra work and putting in trees and pathway edging. But yeah, there's our overall area for the park. This is Jurassica, which is pretty cool. Super stoked on it. I hope you guys enjoy it. We're gonna do some POVs now. So here's our Giga Coaster, which we wound up changing the name to Impact, which I'm really proud of. I love the name Impact. Got a 9.18 excitement rating, a 6.48 intensity rating, and then a 3.82 nausea rating. So I mean, you're looking at a really solid coaster. If this was a park with monetization, this would be racking in some really good bucks. With a 9.18 excitement rating, you could charge, you know, $8.50 per person for this ride, and they'll pay it. They might even pay $9, which is a really good thing to know. And when you're making your rides, know that is a thing. Use your excitement rating, use your gauge to what to charge. Here we are, our Pterodon Flyer, which is our Schwarzkopf looping coaster we made for this episode to close out the entire area. And for some reason, I was having issue typing, don't mind me. Yeah, it's our Pterodon Flyer. Again, this is more of a junior coaster. We want this to be like the leg up for that Intamin, right? So this is that, you know, younger person or less intense Schwarzkopf looper. With a 7.42 excitement rating, you can easily get people to pay $6.50, if not $7 for this one. And 6.25 intensity rating. Again, Schwarzkopfs were a little bit intense, their transitions were. And then nausea rating is 3.18. Again, super low. But yeah, really enjoy the way this looked, the way it came out. Hope you guys do too. Have some really good flow to the coaster. I really enjoy kind of the way it just flows very simply and easily. All right, and then here we are. I forgot to name this, I can't believe it. So I speeded this up. Just Impact is the name of the coaster. We actually changed the train too to look like a flaming meteor. I thought this was such a fun idea. I don't remember what coaster had this in the original game either. One of the coasters in the game had the train that looked like this. You get to see what it looks like as it's going by. It's like, oh my god, cool. All right, so here we are at the splash boats. We're calling it Primeval Splashdown. Thank you, Keone Spears, for that name. We're gonna have it sped up a little bit here so we can watch this go through. We definitely speed it up a lot. So this is, I think, 0.2 speed, or 2 times speed. But you kind of can get the idea of what the ride is doing as it's going through. Again, 8.13 excitement rating, that's super high for this type of a ride in the game. And there we had a little bit of a lag, look at that. But yeah, so as this ride's going, you know, one thing you want to know about what created that high rating was all of this theming, or the excitement rating was all of this theming. The theming is so important for these types of rides because they're boring boat rides. You know what I mean? So theme them out like crazy. Go nuts. Go ham. And here I slowed down the footage for you as it comes out of the... Look at how cool this looks. And being, you know... Oh my god, look at that. Again with the grunt. And as that splash comes down, it goes up onto those rocks and then splashes back down on the boat to get a double hit of water. Such a cool idea. I know I thought of it. All right, so there we are, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Again, this is a tutorial on how to build a Schwarzkopf looper, but we finished out our area named Jurassica. I hope you enjoyed everything overall. Again, Coaster Monkey Studios on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Discord. You can find me everywhere. I am like a virus. I do not discriminate in where I land. So enjoy the rest of your day. Hope you guys enjoy the video and catch you soon. Ciao.